Okay, let's keep it real. When Boruto anime decides to go ham and bring the goods, it brings the goods, because the last 3 episodes of Boruto Naruto Next Generations, episodes 287 to 289, have been slapping harder than ever, because wow, dog, wow. I love when the Boruto anime gives us that canonical stuff. I love when we advance the plot of the major threats, because it's been how many years since the end of the Ishiki Otsutsuki? It's pretty much what's going on. 2 years since Ishiki Otsutsuki was defeated by Kawaki, Naruto, Sasuke, Boruto, and the crew. And yeah, we've been waiting since then to see what would happen. In fact, with the latest episode's return, or not the latest episode, I'm behind, but with episode 287, where Code is daydreaming about Ishiki, I was like, yeah, that scene went down about 1.5 years ago, but here we are picking up from where we left off, despite the massive amounts of anime original stuff. I don't know, dog, we just gotta talk about some Boruto anime, because despite the fact that we've been waiting a long time, at the very least we at it again, and things is kicking off in a major way. Let's do it. I must go. The time is now. I must go. It's time to get out. Make sure to subscribe and hit the bell too. So the newest arc of the Boruto anime continues from where the anime canonically left off again, like I said, with Code daydreaming about Ishiki Otsutsuki and thinking of how he can maneuver and basically get his revenge. And I keep it a buck with you. Honestly, when it comes to that whole situation, it definitely feels like I would have liked a little bit more of Code showcasing before all of this, prior to all this, how he really cared about Jigen, about Ishiki Otsutsuki, because we didn't really get much of that camaraderie. So when you see his obsession with Jigen, I'm like, a couple of extra scenes of him just worshiping the ground he walked on would have really fit. But I guess you could throw the argument, hey, you know, Code just didn't want to be outward with his expression of it, also feeling a little bit embarrassed because of the fact that he wasn't able to become a vessel in the past. So there's the argument there, but still, nonetheless, I would have liked more clues as to how much he really rocked with this dude, opposed to just like now, it's like, oh snap, he really loved and cared about him. Even when that premonition came, or when Ishiki was evaporating away and he tells him, I may not be able to inhabit your body, but you still got the will of the Otsutsuki, fam. Basically, you got the Otsutsuki on your back, dog.
Any of you that got a problem with me, come kill my uncle about it.
And then we progress to Code going and invading Boro's old lab. And again, I feel like, man, you know, honestly, they probably should have waited to give us all of that greatness that we got in 2021 with the Boruto anime, even with the Ishiki Otsutsuki stuff, because it would have been a very nice and smooth transition, thinking back to, hey, you know, we just got Boro and everything that happened with Boruto that was possessed by Momoshiki and stuff like that. So when you cut to all of this, I gotta kind of remember, oh yeah, wait a minute, Boro did have that secret lab, huh? It's like, it's been a while. But essentially, he arrives at that lab in the snow, and you could definitely tell that Code ain't playing, dog. There ain't no jokes, ain't no games here when it comes to this battle, because he goes and just starts slaughtering every security guard around, like, oh, y'all not gonna let me in? Oh, word? Yeah, say less. I'm coming through regardless, you know what I'm saying? So I guess big shout outs to Code being the dastardly dude that he is supposed to be, because pretty much he is the big threat as it stands right now to the Shinobi universe. Although, let's be real, as it stands right now, obviously there's some things waiting in the wings. There's been talks of him removing his limiters and stuff like that, but as it stands right now, if the entire Shinobi universe came through, or the Shinobi world united, they stomping this dude out. Like, let's be clear, regardless of how strong he is, I don't buy for a second that he by himself could take on, like, the Raikage and Tsunade. Like, this isn't Madara Uchiha we're talking about, and I get it, they're saying that, yeah, without his limiters, he's on the level of Jigen, but I don't know. I can't see it, fam. I cannot see it. Yeah, sure, Naruto and Sasuke have both been nerfed. One of them don't got Rinnegan. Also is missing an arm. What, they gonna take a leg next? Arm and a leg, you know what I'm saying? And of course, Naruto no longer has Kurama, but I don't know, fam. I think he needs more people. But as I stated, yes, one of the big things is that Code wants to remove his limiters. Basically, if he was to get his true strength, he would even surpass that of Jigen. And I ain't gonna lie, even when I read the manga, there's something about that line that is like, so where is his strength at? I guess you gotta assume it's between Jigen and when he goes into his ultimate Ishiki Otsutsuki form. And it's kind of crazy that And I guess it's because this is not taking the traditional story route of linear, like, you know, the next villain is stronger than the last type of scenario. It doesn't seem to be going in that direction. So yeah, he will be stronger, but he still won't surpass that of Ishiki Otsutsuki, which was the biggest threat we've had in the Naruto Boruto verse thus far. So it kind of makes me feel a little bit awkward, like, okay, so you're gonna get really, really strong, but you're still not gonna surpass what we had last time. And I guess I'm so used to it from, you know, the Dragon Ball Z days to, of course, Naruto, that the next villain is always surpassing the previous one. Well, not with Code, at the very least for the time being. And pretty much he invades this lab that Boro was keeping secret from Jigen and unlocks, for starters, Android 18. I mean Eida. No. Pretty much one of Amado's experiments that was supposed to have been exterminated due to Jigen's orders. However, Boro could not get himself to put the beauty to death, so he sealed her away in here. And upon release, you could definitely tell that, for starters, Studio Pierrot wanted to make sure that the grand entrance of this character was magnificent in terms of the art, the animation, but especially the artist. It looks like they got that same animator and artist that did like some of the flashback time travel arc where some of the scenes just look so freaking good for, you know, art wise. Seems like they brought in that dude because Eida's design was just absolutely flawless. They made sure to make her hair look glossy, and all around in general they put in the absolute utmost effort into making Eida look amazing upon entrance to the story. And we quickly get introduced to the fact that Shorty's hacks. Shorty got abilities that is pretty much one of the, if not the strongest abilities in the entirety of the Naruto verse. And in general, it's just like, oh my god, like if you add a little bit of muscle to her powers, I don't even know what you could do. Because for starters, she has an eye ability, an ocular ability called the Senrigan, where pretty much she could see anything in the past, not prior to her birth, but from the time she was born on, she could go and see anything that happened. So pretty much if she was born before the 4th Great Shinobi War, which I do believe she was, she could see everything that happened. She could see Madara in all his glory. She could go and watch all of that stuff, but also she could essentially transfer her consciousness to different parts of wherever it is in the world, and she could see what's going on. So right now, if the Raikage is taking a dump, she could go in there and look at the Raikage taking a dump. Like, it's that freaking broken. And then to add insult to injury, like, okay, not only is she just absolutely hacks with being able to transfer consciousness and see everything and anything that's going on at the current moment, but then also she has an ability on top of that that makes anybody that is not a blood relative or an Otsutsuki immediately fall hardcore in love with her. And there's definitely some facets to that, because when they introduce certain stipulations, you know that there's going to be more to it. So the fact that nobody that is a blood relative is going to fall in love with her, that means there's probably going to be some plot twists along the way. Also, they're keeping it from getting gross and nasty, so kudos to them for that. But yeah, it looks like there's probably going to be some plot twists along the way when it comes to that. But then on top of that, the Otsutsuki stuff, because Boruto and Kawaki are both infested, so to speak, with the Otsutsuki within them, that is going to shake things up, and of course leads to her ultimate goal of getting a husbando. Because essentially it is revealed very quickly that Eida, despite the fact that she looks super disinterested in anything Code has to say, she wants a Prince Charming. Because of her ability that anybody that looks at her immediately falls in love, she never really can find true love unless it's under those circumstances of, again, somebody that is an Otsutsuki. Because unless she's on some nasty creep shit, I don't think she's going for blood relatives, lad. And seeing Bug there was, I ain't gonna lie, a little bit of a riot, because it's just this old man that is creeped out by both Code and Eida, and the fact of the way they're talking and whatnot. Like, he's looking at them like they're monsters and shit. Like, I would love a little flashback of how Bug got into the situation of dealing with these people. Like, how did he get into being with Kara to begin with? That's a backstory that needs to be told. And then on top of that, they also reveal that she has a little brother as well, that they wake up, named Daemon, and you could see that Daemon is pretty freaking strong. Like, there's a whole horde of people that are attacking, and Daemon is seemingly either reflecting their attacks back them or just kicking major tails. So that is pretty much the muscle to Eida's abilities. Like, not only does she have, again, this hacks, and I gotta keep on stressing, broken ability of seeing everything, pretty much like the all-seeing eye. Then on top of that, to stop people from combating her, they immediately fall in love with her. It's hard to fight somebody that you're in love with, especially to that scale, that even Code, you know, a soulless dude like Code is still like, I can't, she's too beautiful. So you add all of that together, plus her little bro that is going to kick major tail, you can't win against Eida. and that's on period. Okay, that was terrible, I'm sorry. While all of this very heavy stuff is going down with Code, Eida, Daemon, and that whole gang, then on the flip side of things, we got Kawaki's character and everything that goes on with him and Boruto. Because let's be clear, one of the big things that's happening throughout all of this, and that's been brewing even during some of these anime original episodes, but especially since it's been back to the canon, is the fact that Kawaki is really fighting with himself. One of the things that he struggles with so desperately is, yo dog, I gotta protect the Hokage. Yo dog, I gotta protect Naruto. I don't want nothing to happen to Naruto. I can't let nothing happen to Naruto. I love Naruto. Pretty much Kawaki, you know what I'm saying? He loves him some Naruto, and it is really destroying him, the fact that something could happen to him, and especially now that he does not have Kama, he can't pretty much defend Naruto. Like, even in that battle that he has against Boruto, which I definitely feel like, in a weird way, that is, think to a certain degree, a more playful and more chill, but still very much so on the same scale type of battle that Naruto and Sasuke had when they fought. And pretty much, I think what Sasuke launched a attack, or it was Naruto that launched the Rasengan into that big water tower or whatnot. Think like that aspect, because I feel like that was a very pivotal moment into pushing Kawaki even further into making certain decisions, because Boruto takes the W. Again, like, if this is remixing a spin-off, so to speak, of like the old Naruto and Sasuke part 1 situation, it's flip-siding it, because Boruto completely kicked Kawaki's tail. He showed him at the end of the day, you might be strong and all that stuff, let me show you how a shinobi rocks. And I think it added insult to injury in Kawaki's eyes, especially the fact that the Hokage that he loved so much, Naruto, was watching the entire thing, and he was on his hands and knees in the end of it all. And I gotta give props to Boruto. Absolutely props to Boruto. The fact that he was able to kick some tail, it showcases that Boruto ain't no slouch. Kawaki is very strong, and the fact that on a one-on-one he was able to do what he did, you got to give him props. And even more so, it's adding to Kawaki's character and his desperation, because prior to that, they were just having simple training, and he was going very ham to the point where he was damn near going to slash Sarada if Boruto didn't stop it. So you see Kawaki's desperation is also pushing him forth. And then you got the devil in the red dress, so to speak, when it comes to Amado. Let's be very clear. Amado is still sus. If anybody in the series screams the word sus, it is that man with them shades, them glasses, that old fart, because he clearly is the one that's making Kawaki go even further into this manic mind state when he tempts him with karma, where he basically knows what buttons to push when it comes to Kawaki. Oh, you know, it's a shame, man. I know you want to protect the Hokage. If you don't shut your old ass up, you know exactly what you're doing, dog. Why you want it on there? That remains to be seen. There's definitely some breadcrumbs of conversation that you could throw in, like, what are you trying to do exactly? Because of the conversation that he has following the conversation that he had with Kawaki about putting karma back on him with Sumide, when Sumide comes off of probably Shikamaru's orders to question him about, yo, why you bringing up that karma stuff? And he's like, yo, it's basically like a Ishiki house inside of Kawaki and nobody's home. And it made me think, like, okay, if that's the way you're looking at it, why do you want to put a karma door there again? Who do you want to come home inside of Kawaki? There's a big question. Like, yo, Amado, on top of the fact that we found out that he has artificial eyes, his eyes were swapped out, so he's not even 100%, you know, regular, normal, human type of deal as well. Makes you wonder, what is he doing? What is he after? Why would you tempt this kid that is basically completely distraught and say, yo, this thing that, like, you know what I'm saying, you were traumatized to be put under, that karma power? Yeah, how about we put it back on you, dog? Amado is the sus of the century. And also some of the scenes that the Boruto anime added of those flashbacks of Code and Kawaki when they were younger and they were undergoing the experiments to put them under the, you know, the new karma, and the fact that Code was really distraught about it as well. You can definitely see that Code hates Kawaki even more so than just the fact that Kawaki was one of the people that killed Jigen. Like, that's a part of it 100%. Like, yo, I gotta avenge him because he loves him and all this stuff. But even more so than that, it's definitely bitterness. The fact that he was able to become a vessel for Ishiki and he wasn't. You can see from those flashbacks when he tried to choke him out and stuff like that, he is really distraught by it. And it's kind of crazy to look at perspective being one hell of an animal, because while Code is there like, I wanted to be the vessel, how could you? Kawaki is like, I hate all of you, I don't want none of this, take me out of here, I wish you were the vessel. It's maddening. And it also just showcases that two people can have the same experience and come away with totally different mindsets. Quickly got to reference that new musical cue, that rock background song that plays occasionally in these episodes. Oh my god, whoever is the composer, please keep on doing that. That sounds so amazing with the guitars and all that. I know y'all know what I'm talking about. That new music cue, it is so good. I don't know if it's actually new now that I think about it. It might have recently appeared, but it's so good. And as I was stating earlier, Kawaki is really on edge because, dog, that scene, which by the way, Shikadai and them, they kind of looked a little bit older, and I think that was just a character designer for that episode. But when Shikadai and them are walking towards Kawaki and Shikadai is calling out to Kawaki and he screams, "Shut up and stop talking!" and he wasn't even meaning it towards Shikadai, that is just another demonstration that everything that's been happening regarding, you know, Amado tempting him with the karma and him wanting to protect the seventh so bad is really eating at him. And it's also giving an opportunity for the next gen to be involved because they do care. You know, Shikadai is a good kid regardless of whatever it may be. He does want to help. He even references it later when he's talking to Shikamaru about, yo, something's off with Kawaki, and we know how Shikamaru feels about Kawaki. If he could get rid of homie, if he could shoot him off in a, you know, rocket, he would. Shout outs to the heartfelt moments, even though I feel like we had one of those already or a couple of them, but it's just even further pushing how tragic it's going to be when we inevitably get towards that first episode, first chapter, where Kawaki is no longer a part of the leaf and he's trying to destroy things and whatnot. When he's having that scene of him being by himself on top of the Hokage monument with a bottle of water, and Naruto shows up and he's like, "Yo, you're gonna come home and eat?" And it gets to a point where he picks him up, puts him over his shoulder and says, "Come on, my stupid son." That again even further solidifies why Kawaki loves this dude so much. He went from being just in the most harshest environment possible with every messed up thing that Jigen was doing to him, on top of the fact of his memories of his pops and all of the messed up things his pops was doing to him. He goes from all of that to, this dude really cares about me. He's bringing me home and telling me, no, this is your home. Like, no, all that stuff that you have in your mind, that's all in your head. Like, no, this is your home, dog.
That's what I'm talking about! That's why he's the GOAT! The GOAT!
And even throwing him a welcome home party and stuff like that. Like, that was beautiful, and again cements the relationship and the foundation for Kawaki. Like, regardless of whatever may happen and whatever comes from, you know, that leads to that dark or messed up future, Kawaki nevertheless really does love these people because they're showing him love. Even after, again, going back to how it feels like it mirrored Naruto Part 1 with the Boruto and Kawaki fight, is that, remember how he slashes the headband in half? Remember how Naruto slashed Sasuke's headband? Again, that was in the second fight that they had in Part 1. But nevertheless, that whole situation with Boruto giving Kawaki his headband and saying, "It's alright, I got Sasuke's," even further pushes forth that whole thing of, again, Sasuke not feeling a part of the leaf, Kawaki not feeling a part of the leaf, the headband situation. It's all coming together really nicely, and that was a very nice touch. And then that last scene where Himawari and Kawaki are in the bathroom, and Himawari is basically saying, "Yo, if there's something wrong with Boruto, you think you could look out for him?" And Kawaki's saying, yeah, I will. I mean, he did make a promise to Boruto, yo, if Momoshiki comes out again, I'm gonna do what needs to be done, bro. So very dark and ominous at the same time, because he's basically telling their little sister, yeah, I'm gonna kill Boruto, without telling her. It's kind of, Kawaki's going off the rails, fam. Kawaki is going off the rails. And honestly, the Boruto anime has lately been snapping and been absolutely amazing. Curious what you guys think about the whole situation, though. How do you feel about Kawaki's character up until this point? And do you feel like, yet again, when the Boruto Naruto Next Generations anime comes back and goes to the canonical stuff, it just feels like, man, if only this was the story that we got most of the time, if not all of the time, it would be praised and people wouldn't hate on Boruto. Boruto's a victim of scheduling and capitalism. Hey! That's all I have for this one on ForneverWorld, and as always, people, have an awesome day. Peace in.
I have a dream, alone in my room as I sit with the tea. Couldn't possibly think what I often see, and you don't even know how I often blink. Lights be flashing and looking at me, such an odd unique, yet I'm so unique and you're looking at me. If the walls could talk, they would probably repeat, and I'd probably say, bitch, get the fuck off me.